Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for bean lovers. I'm Cody.
I'm Tyler.
Off the top of your dome, top 3 beans for you. Go ahead. I'll wait.
You got the kidney bean.
Okay, interesting.
Lima bean.
All right, also
and
interesting.
Black bean.
Wow. I mean, how are you gonna... You're gonna leave Pinto out of this?
Pinto
How dare you,
can
sir?
go
How
die in a
dare you?
hole.
Pinto is the working horse that that carries all beans on its back.
The black bean is the superior bean.
Okay.
You tell me you're going to Chipotle and you're like, give me pinto beans. No.
40% of the time, yes, I am.
Cody, you're a whore.
Okay, look. All right. I don't want to stir up too much controversy for the bean community. Just wanted to give them a shout out. Why? Why, you might ask? Tyler, what do we watch today?
We watched the Brothers Grimm, right?
Yeah.
Not the Brothers Grimsby. The Brothers Grimm. Which you almost clicked on Grimsby. I watched you almost do it.
Yeah. You know, if it weren't for beans, this screenplay never would have happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's the thing. I really thought you were going to say this was a podcast for dress pattern makers. That's what I thought you were going to go with. I was so sure of it. I would have bet my kidney on it, Cody.
Would you bet your kidney beans?
Never.
Lima beans, come on.
Lima beans?
You're telling me you're putting lima beans? Lima beans ahead of navy beans?
See, now there, there could be an argument there. I'm just saying I'm a fan of the lima. I understand not everyone is. I like the lima bean.
I just think it's too aggressive of a shape. It's too large and aggressive for me. I need a calmer, gentler bean.
Cody, what's your most treasured memory of kindergarten? Wrong. It's when you sprouted the lima bean. All right? In the paper towel, we all did it. You remember it?
The only bean I've ever sprouted is a green bean, sir. How dare you?
It was a lima bean and you know it.
Tyler, I'm big mad about this movie. I saw this in theaters when it came out, and it was far too spooky for me because I was a gentle boy, as we've discussed. Okay?
Yeah.
Rewatching it now, I'm just angry. I'm no longer afraid. I'm just upset.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I can get into why I'm so upset about it to start, because there's too much that's going to pour out of me. So I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna hold on to my ego and wait for a moment. But let me ask you this: will you give me a synopsis of the Brothers Grimsby?
All right, a synopsis of the Brothers Grimsby. There's Mark Strong.
Yep.
And
Borat.
Is it Borat or is it?
It's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen. That's what I was struggling with. And one's a spy.
Yep.
Mark Strong is a spy.
Okay.
And he helps Sacha Baron Cohen fake his own death. No, that's an Adam Sandler movie on Netflix. They're spies.
Which one?
Here's what I understand: the Brothers Grimsby is a bad knockoff of the other guys. That's what I assume it is.
Oh,
that's what it looks like. The cover's the same as
one of the cover. You're right.
It's the same. It always seemed the same. Now the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah. What about the movie we watched? Do you want to give us a synopsis of that?
It's what if the Grimm brothers, instead of just going around and kicking down old ladies' doors and saying, "Give me all your stories."
Mm-hmm.
What if they were witch hunters? But let's twist the twist and say, what if they were con artist witch hunters?
Yeah.
Also writing the stories.
Very well done. Very well done, sir. Now let me ask you this question. How'd it go for you? What's your level of anger?
I'm not angry, Cody. You know me.
Okay, well, how'd you enjoy it?
I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
Your first take. You're disappointed.
I'm disappointed.
At me or at the movie?
Both. I'm disappointed at you for not questioning the dress pattern maker thing that I said earlier.
What was that?
That's what the guys who basically had to rewrite the script gave themselves the credit of.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that. Yeah.
Because they couldn't credit themselves as writers, so they were like, "Is movie
more based on what they say? It was more based on a pattern than a
dress pattern,
yeah,
screen, yeah." Yeah. So a little fun tidbit that's what I thought you were gonna go with, and then you didn't. Anyway.
Nope.
You betrayed me, and it's fine. I thought, it's normally I can be like, I could see how this could have been a good movie, and I saw where they go wrong. I don't think they could have done this better. I think this is not, like it's seeing everybody do really well in their roles. I feel like, and then thinking this is not good. It's like, is this a flawed concept?
We'll get into it later. Because we can't get all the way into it now. I think it could have been better. I don't think it could have been great, but I think it could have maybe been good. Here's my thought. This wasn't a good movie, and I didn't enjoy it, but I am upset about it. Is that fair to say?
For you, sure. But would you recommend it?
No.
Yes,
don't watch it.
You wanted to watch it. You wanted to.
You made me watch this.
No, but you wanted to.
You saw me dodge trying to watch this, and I thought I dodged the bullet because I was like, sweet, we didn't do it for like a spooky October episode. Nailed it.
Here's the thing, Cody. From the beginning, we planned to do it.
After October ended, and then you were like, let's do it now.
Because we had planned to do it the week after.
I was so broken, I was so broken that I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I just had to accept it.
Yeah.
And then we proceeded to watch it with commercials on Pluto TV.
That was your decision. You chose this fate.
Here's why I didn't reverse it. Too much work. You got to exit all the way out of the app. You got to find it in a different app. And then you got to pay money to rent it without commercials from another app. That's easily 90 seconds worth of time.
Yeah.
And I saved us time by only making us watch 15 minutes of commercials.
Oh.
Throughout the movie.
Cody, it was more than 15 minutes of commercials. Also, but what we did learn was what kind of detergents and dryer sheets we could use, what kind we each used as we discussed it with each other. That was a fun
adventure. There were like 7 different laundry products that were advertised throughout the span of the movie commercial breaks.
Yeah.
I was fascinated. I was like, how dirty do they think the people watching Pluto TV are? And do they think I'm this dirty? It wasn't even like what it was 7 different kinds. There were softeners, there were dryer sheets, there were smell beads, there were like 40 different kinds of detergents. So should we get into it?
Yeah. Let's just stick your arms out to your side, Cody.
Okay.
There you go. And then I don't know what he does to summon them, but eventually some of these crows are going to come down. We're going to ride the crows to
ride the crows
spoiler to spoil because it's in Germany.
Yeah.
Which translates to
that.
Spoiler Town.
Yes.
USA. That's the direct translation from German into English.
All right. Since you asked, here's why I'm mad about this movie.
Yeah, tell me.
You might know this. You might not. It was directed by Terry Gilliam. Oh, you don't know who that is?
Nobody knows who that is.
Let me tell you, he's the man. He's only the man who directed every Monty Python movie and one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time, 12 Monkeys. Aren't you upset now? Doesn't that break your heart that man? But also, doesn't this movie make a lot more sense now?
Yeah.
Like the weird kookiness of it, you're like, oh, if this was Monty Python doing some of these characters, this would be a really fun time.
That's the thing.
Instead, it's like an overly serious movie with like the most zany character that feels so out of place and it hurts.
Yeah. It is. If this was a comedy, it would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Brothers Grimsby is.
Instead, it is... There's some upsetting things about this movie. Okay. Anyway, that's what made me most upset. 12 Monkeys. This is why you should never watch this movie. Because you should watch 12 Monkeys instead. You saw 12 Monkeys. Don't tell me you didn't see it. I watched it with you.
Yeah.
We watched 12 Monkeys and we watched Looper.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, Cody. I like 12 Monkeys. I like it a lot. I like that movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever really thought of someone who I would ever recommend that movie to.
How dare you, sir?
I would recommend it to you if you hadn't seen it.
Thanks. Thank you.
You also didn't like Looper.
I did like Looper.
Who didn't like Looper? Name names, Cody. One of our friends didn't like Looper.
I don't think Bindi liked it. Who didn't like Looper? I don't know. Kaylin probably. If you didn't like Looper, tweet me at Opinion Havers and tell me why.
It's so good.
I think it's the best Rian Johnson movie, right? We can say that.
Yeah. It has the most, what I view as the most horrifying sequence of any movie I've ever seen, and I've seen most of Human Centipede.
You have?
Yeah.
But have you seen the sequel?
I watched the trailer for it, which is really all you need to do. But have you seen the sequel?
Here's what I've seen of Human Centipede. I've heard Dan Harmon give like a 12-minute recap of it, and it's amazing.
You've seen it, if you've done that. I mean, that's really all. Yeah. I know it's
a movie that exists for like 12 people to watch it and the rest of us to enjoy the meme of it. Of like explaining what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we watched it fast forwarding through to the good parts because one of my friends was one of those lucky 12. Who his uncle, who I believe may have diddled him, I guess. I don't know. Gosh. Yeah, he never said anything. He never indicated anything. But if somebody's like, my uncle watched this with me.
Right.
That man's not your uncle.
Yeah. Yeah. That is your abuser. Okay, this movie starts out, and the whole thing is, it's like Jack and the Beanstalk, right? Someone sells the cow, he gets the magic beans.
Yeah.
And it was, here's the thing. They went with that vibe, and you're like, I get it, right? It's a fairy tale. It's Jack and the Beanstalk. He gets... The older brother's mad at the younger brother because he had the magic beans. He like smacks the beans out of his hand, and then like the younger brother just is kind of just like awkwardly looking at the camera like, beans? And then it's like, the Brothers Grimm. I was like, what? That's the intro ended on the most awkward shot. I was like, it's just him looking. He's not even like upset about the beans.
They were down.
They
tackled him to the ground.
It looks like he was like straight on the spectrum, just like, beans? Like looking forward. Could not register the emotions of the scene. And then they were like, end scene.
Well, no, he tackled him down.
I'm just saying.
And he was about to kill him, and then that's
nearly enough emotion on that boy's face.
Oh yeah, no, he never stopped with his awkward smile, even as he was getting tackled to the ground. Magic beans.
If you want a recommendation for a movie with Sacha Baron Cohen in it, I just watched The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix. It's an Aaron Sorkin movie, so you know I had to watch it. Anyway, they mentioned something about like the magic beans. You're like, you traded a cow for beans, or for magic beans. He's like, well, the thing is, the beans worked. Like, it's not a good diss. You know what I'm saying? The magic beans were magic beans, except not in this. Or maybe it was. I think it wasn't, because the idea of the movie is that Heath Ledger goes on to write the stories of their fun adventures they have, right?
Yeah.
So there wasn't a magic beanstalk, but he probably made up a story. But also, that's an English folktale and not a German one.
Yeah, but most of the things that the German, weren't German folk tales. They were just ones that guys wrote down. Here's the thing, Cody. So you know how everybody's like, oh, the Grimm fairy tales, they're horrifying, right?
Right.
This is what they did. They're like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to travel the world, the known world of Germany, France, and England. The entire planet at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to gather all the folk tales. And we're going to censor them so that they're good for young audiences. And then we're going to publish books about it. And everyone's going to love us and we'll be rich. And it worked. They're the ones that have the censored versions of these folk tales.
I mean, you've seen the Krampus. You've seen what Germans do for folklore. They're like, yeah, and it eats your children. And it's got like an elf in blackface, and that's what it does, and it eats the children, and we love him. It's the Krampus.
Yeah.
I get it.
I have a confession to make to you.
Talk to me.
There's been, some possible slander thrown your way once or twice about your, very Aryan look.
By who?
Nobody in particular.
But someone with a podcast.
Someone with a podcast. But yeah, most of my family is German, and my mom came from a super German, You know, like those places where they didn't keep speaking the language, but 90% of their culture stayed exactly the same?
Yeah.
That's where she came from.
Yeah.
So, I could tell you, German people, douchebags.
No.
But you gotta love them, you know?
They can make a nice car.
They can, you know?
So
they make some good food, too.
Sausages.
You ever had a wurst?
You know, I've had a wurst. I've had a large pretzel. I've partaken of the schnitzel.
I like that schnitzel.
I can't knock any of it.
Speaking of schnitzel, have you ever seen Hoodwinked?
Oh, okay. I have a story about Hoodwinked.
I do want to do that.
I didn't watch Hoodwinked in theaters. It was a very sad day for me. You know what I did? Where I did watch it? In computer science class in high school. You know who was also in computer science class in high school? Boom. That's right. A German foreign exchange student. He missed it that day, and we were like, I forget his name. We're like,
Hans.
It was something pretty German. And they were like, you gotta see this. So we went just to that scene, put it on the big TV, watched it, and we all looked eagerly at him the whole time, and he was like, he thought we were so stupid. We're like, this is the best thing ever. We made this German guy watch the Schnitzel song. It was great.
Yeah. I've made my wife watch that Schnitzel song many times.
Oh, yeah. It's
Schnitzel.
It's a good time.
Yeah. You know, the little German children are extra horrifyingly animated.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Everybody looks a little bit messed up in that movie.
Yeah.
But the little German kids look extra messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, back to this one.
Matt Damon is in this.
You didn't believe me when I said this was Matt Damon and Heath Ledger. I just want to recall to that original conversation about this movie.
Here's the thing.
You looked at the cover.
I had seen it.
You've seen it. You looked at the cover. You were looking at their faces. And one, you didn't believe me. And then once you caved, you swapped them and thought they were backwards.
Here's the thing. Yes, I swapped them. Because when you see them in the movie, you're like, they need to be swapped. That should be Heath Ledger's hair, and that should be Matt Damon's hair. Why does Matt Damon have, like, tufted blonde hair? That's a Heath Ledger hair. Heath Ledger's hair is halfway there already, right? Like, we've seen him with that kind of hair in other movies. Okay. Like Knight's Tale or whatever.
Yeah.
Anywho, here's what I found out.
Oh, yeah, tell
I'm
me.
sure you've seen this.
Yeah.
They switched roles. Matt Damon and Heath Ledger were like, Terry Gilliam, I think we need to switch roles. And he was like, why not? You know, we don't have a screenplay. Let's just do it. I was so upset. I was like, why did they switch roles? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Look, I like Matt Damon. Heath Ledger's got more charisma, and he should have been the charisma guy.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't know.
Ugh.
But yeah, I mean, would it have been better had they kept the original roles? Yes. Because who can play the old douche and who can play the young, sweet science guy? The opposite of the way they did it, Cody. That's who, you know, it's Matt Damon's the sweetie boy, and, you know.
Yeah.
One guy plays stuff, I guess, I don't know. And the other guy is the Joker. Which one do you want to be the more antagonistic brother?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The guy that could play the Joker.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Bill Paxton. What? If only, right?
If only. So, my next note is, so they're just dicks. Because I forgot that they were, like, con artists. So in the beginning, the next scene is them, and they go, they're like, we're going to cast the witch up. Don't worry, it's going to cost a lot of money, but it's fine. We'll do it. They go to the barn. They fight off the witch. It's great. And then the guy leaves from the town, and they're like, sweet. And then the actors come out, and they're like, we did it. Nice job. There's a big troll guy he's the first character who's way too much. You know, the muscly guy who's doing all this. It's one of those things you're like, this would work in a comedy, but it's not. He just comes off as uncomfortable.
But it's so funny that it's scary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody,
here's what you need to understand. They only get a 10th, right?
Yeah. Same as
they
what
want
the Lord
double.
gets.
Yeah. They want double. So what is that?
20th
each.
It's a 40th.
No.
Okay.
It's 2 20ths.
2 20ths. 40%.
So
They lit a horse on fire.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, I remember.
What was that about? They lit a horse on. Like, that wasn't CG fire.
They had to make him run.
I saw CG fire in this movie, and that was not it.
Look, Cody, when you're making a movie and you look down and you open up that little binder that's got all the lines and placements and real to outline the movie, what are you expecting to see? You're expecting to see a script. And you open it up and it's a dress pattern. Everything's thrown out the window, Cody.
It's like the tapestry thing from Midsummer.
Yeah.
It's like they just have that. They're like, well, there's an image of a horse on fire. Here's a tower. Ooh, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
So, also, okay, so Matt Damon, I don't know. So then they're at the bar later that night. They're celebrating. Heath Ledger's talking about to give away all their secrets because, I don't know, he sucks or something.
Because he's drunk and he's smart.
Magic beans. That was the dig that Matt Damon used on him like 3 different times, maybe 5 times in the movie.
Yeah.
Just kept saying magic beans. I was like, I don't know, man, let it go. Aren't you guys doing well, Don't you have a good thing going?
Yeah. Which, here's the thing. With that kind of thing, it makes sense if it's in like a really good movie where you establish it in such a way where it's like, it is a thing between them as brothers of, you are doing something dumb. You gotta think about what you're doing. And he's like, oh, okay, I gotcha. But then later on in the movie, they're like, no, he just says it because he's still mad about the magic beans incident.
Yeah. And every time they say magic beans, I just think of like the awkward boy's face from the beginning of the movie.
The boy that didn't change his expression at all.
Yes. Oh man, it's like the kid they cast got pneumonia, and they were like, ugh, all right, we gotta find the nearest child and put him in makeup. And get him on set.
Just kidnapped a kid from like the nearby school. He was probably German and didn't know what was happening.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Anyway, they're at the bar, they're getting tipsy, and then some dudes come who are German or French or something.
French.
Yeah, they're French.
They are in French-occupied Germany.
Trying to run away. The guy throws what are those called? They're
Bola.
like bolas.
Yeah.
To wrap around. It only wraps around one of his feet, but he does trip and fall.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Oh, when he woke him up. That's what you're talking about. Because he like diffuses the whole thing when the French soldiers walk in, and then
right.
And then Amadeus wakes him up. That's right. That's the exact same costume that the guy wears in that movie, right?
Probably. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I feel confident
neither have I. But
you've
seen the thing,
the poster.
The poster.
Oh yeah.
He wakes him up.
And then there's the Italian guy. I was so confused the whole time because
that's good. Yeah.
They paint him to be French, right? Because they're like, Brothers Grimm, we all know they're German. Some of us know that. Great. We're in Germany, right? Yes. There's French people, right? Okay, got it. And then he's like, Bambini. I was like, wait.
Is he Italian?
Hold on.
Or is he
Because
French?
then, later in the movie, they go to like the French aristocrat general's house, and everyone there is super French. But then the Italian guy is there being Italian. And I think that's one thing that kind of missed the mark in this. It sounds like if they should have just done it German, because I think they tried to play the politics of like, German, France is occupying it. Maybe there's some English people. How about one Italian man? And it never it didn't make sense to me most of the time. I was like, they are French. French are bad guys? They are? No, they're So the Germans don't care that much. The Brothers Grimm care. Why is there an Italian man? How is he friends with the French dude who's occupying Germany?
So was he an Italian mercenary?
He's an Italian torture artist / fashionista? I don't know, man.
So I did spend a lot of the movie trying to figure this out. Because you did the same thing. We both did the Italian thing, and that was the first time it really clicked with me of like, this man is Italian. He is definitely not.
He was doing a French accent for the first scene or two, but then he throws out the word bambino. It's like, I guess it isn't a French accent. He's an Italian man.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Well, so the only thing I could think of is he an Italian man who they've hired to be his torture artist or something, because he's like, he makes a reference to where he's like super well known, or his family's super well known for this. But he's just a nutcase. He is someone who belongs in a Monty Python sketch.
Yeah, he does, except there's no straight man to play off of. Everyone's just kind of like going along with it, you know? Like there's no...
He is the straight man, that's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, and he's too much the entire time. I was trying to figure it out, because like French occupied Germany. When did that happen? So are these Napoleon times?
Yeah.
Okay. So I figured it out then. There's like a magic carpet thing they do. Is it what? Is it like a handkerchief or a scarf goes in like the river or creek?
Cody, please. We're in Germany. It's a shawl.
Okay.
All right.
There's a shawl.
Is a child's shawl.
And they CG that thing, and they would have had better luck putting some fishing wire on it and tugging. And instead they're like, we're going to completely... We have enough computer technology to like make a wet cloth that also floats through air, right? And they went for it, and it was bad.
Here, let me get you with this, though. Those bugs and the birds, even the wolf, also CG, Cody. Better or worse than the shawl? Better, Cody. It was
better.
Better than the shawl.
I don't know, man.
The shawl was
the wolf had some bad shots.
The wolf, yes. But the shawl looked like it was pulled out of a movie like Hoodwinked, where it's a different art style to the CG.
Yeah. I don't know. So then the thing is, the Brothers Grimm are in trouble because the French guy why does the French guy care that they're conning people? What was that about?
Because it's illegal, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. So then he's like, tell you what, if you can go and get rid of this actual witch or something.
No, they just think it's another con artist. But this one's kidnapping children, which they haven't done.
You gotta help us get rid of the bad guy. Or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's like, you're annoying, they're annoying. Go
do whatever. And then they get to the town, the carriage and horses ride in. There's geese in one shot, then they're gone in the next shot. They use those geese like 5 different times.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I think they were just there.
But then they show them scattering the geese, and then the next shot they're like, there's no geese here.
Yeah.
That bothered me.
Because they were gone.
Show me the geese. They're lighting horses on fire, they're chasing geese around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Geese are, nobody needs geese in their life,
Yeah.
You know what, Cody? Hot take right here. Geese are dicks.
Yeah, they are. I was talking to Bailey about this. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, she never had the experience of being chased by a goose as a child.
Yeah.
Did you have that experience? Or at least, like, your dumb cousin did? Like, you went to the park and he was the one who was like, this is a good idea. I'm 7. I'm going to chase these geese around. But then he gets chased by the goose because the goose are hostile.
Cody, have I ever told you about the story of the goose? Cody, at my high school, there were 2 entrances, really, that everybody used. There's the main one, there's a side one. Classic. By the side one, goose decided to post up and lay its eggs.
No!
So, you couldn't use that door. But everybody wanted to be like, I'm going to take a look at that goose. My friend got chased by the goose up a wall. It was like somewhere between 7 and 10 feet. It was a very high wall. And he ran up a portion of the wall and grabbed the top and pulled himself up the wall. And another friend just watched all this happen. And he's like, I've never seen him. He ran up the wall to get away from the goose.
Yeah.
The goose wasn't even really going for him. It was just like behind him, honked at him a couple times. It scared him so bad. The goose attacked and injured several students. And then eventually the goose had to be taken by animal control with the eggs and moved because for the senior prank, the goose is loose became the theme. And they were going to catch the goose and let it loose in the school. And I was like, well, someone's going to die. The goose is going to die or a student's going to die.
Has to be like the hardest job is working for animal control and getting a call where it's like, there's a very angry goose. Capture it. That has to be a stressful and difficult job.
Also, there's going to be a bunch of teenagers there. Don't let them get involved or touch the goose. But
so, here's the strength of this movie.
Cody, the goose was loose.
I've noticed one thing about the movie. They have some pretty good sets.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good practical sets, like the German villages and things like that, are pretty good. I think that's the strength of this movie. Yeah. Maybe the strength.
Yeah. I mean,
there are some good members of the cast, I guess.
I think they all did an awesome job with the character they were given.
Yeah.
I think the characters they were given did not belong in the same movie.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I hear ya.
I think this cast could have made a good movie, though.
Yeah, probably.
If
probably.
The Grimm brothers were told to be more zany.
Here's the thing about this movie. Since you brought up the cast, let's get into it.
Tell me.
Things happened. Okay. I mean, most Hollywood movies, like, this person was rumored, this person accepted, there was conflicts. You know, it happens all the time. There's some interesting ones here. It's not just that Matt Damon... There aren't just people switching roles in this movie. Initially, the director was like, we should get Samantha Morton to play the Queen. We all know Samantha Morton, 2-time Academy Award winner for movies such as Something About the Night or whatever, and also another one. Harvey Weinstein. Remember Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah.
He was like, tops of her arms are fat. That's not sexy. No one wants to have sex with that. No, you can't cast her. Isn't that horrific to hear?
I mean, it's Harvey Weinstein, so...
But it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Which I think is shameful. This is a 2-time Academy Award-winning actress we could have had in this cast. And it's like the director and maybe Matt Damon or maybe it was Heath Ledger. Anyway, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Here's some other people that could have been in this movie. Uma Thurman was originally going to be... she turned down the role of the Queen.
Uh-huh.
Nicole Kidman and Anthony Hopkins at one point were cast in this movie. And they had scheduling conflicts. Mm-hmm. Anthony Hopkins. He actually would have had to play the French general or the woodsman, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
Robin Williams turned down the role of the woodsman, which would have made this a whole completely different movie, right?
Right.
That's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
And that's it. Robin Williams. Can you imagine? Okay, what if this movie was completely different and it was like Uma Thurman is the Queen, Nicole Kidman is the huntress lady, Anthony Hopkins is the general dude, and Robin Williams is the woodsman?
I feel like
that would have been like a star-studded cast.
Yeah, and at that point you have to just say, you just got to make it like a comedy where there's some super serious moments, but they're only there to make the funny moments stand out more.
Yeah.
You can't have this half. It's like half the cast were in a drama and half the cast were in a comedy. Yeah. And it's it wouldn't have worked.
They made Heath Ledger so unsexy, and I find that offensive.
Yeah, I know. Right?
That's what's offensive about this.
If you were going to make one of those two men unsexy, let's go back to it. Who would you make? That's right, Matt Damon. You make Matt Damon unsexy.
Easily.
Who thinks Jason Bourne is sexy? Nobody.
All right.
Have you watched recently any of those Jason Bourne fight things that were so well choreographed?
Nah, it's been a long time since
I'll tell you what, you watch John Wick and then watch Jason Bourne right after and you're like, stop cutting! Oh my gosh! It's so many cuts. It's like, I was watching one with my wife the other day, and I was like, this really feels like Liam Neeson jumping over a fence right now. That's what this feels like.
Yeah.
And it's aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of cuts in this film though, Cody. Oh. That's what I appreciate about it.
Stop. There's some weird moments too, like there's a part where they're like, we're gonna need like the music swells, like we're gonna need a guide. Music swells for no reason. Alright, cut to the next scene. Here she is. I don't know.
I get that, because I think that scene is one of the ones that belong in the comedy version of this, because it's him being like, given this epic speech where it's like, it would have cut right at the music swelling, and then they would have been at the hunters, but instead they're like, we're going to do the funny thing, and it's be like, all right, so we're going to need like a guide and this, and like, let's get down to like the logistics of this, which is like something you put in a comedy of like, so we have no idea what we're doing right now. Yeah. You're going to have to help us out. Yeah. Versus we're heroes and we're here to save your village, you know?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Black hat guy, Italian man, the Italian Frenchman.
What a ray of sunshine, am I right?
He's so gross the whole time. Because he goes in the hunter's house. What does he do? Does he like smell her or lick the rabbit? Or
he smells her and then he throws a dagger at the rabbit.
And then there was so much spitting in this movie. This is the most spitting I've ever seen in a movie.
Well, because she's cursed.
Everybody's spitting in this movie. There's the old lady who's spitting. I think the Italian guy is spitting left and right. I was like, it needs to stop. It was one of those things, like, it could have been a bit. Like, they could have made into a really funny bit where it's like, why do people spit here so much? Like, they could have played into that. Instead, it was just like, please stop spitting. I feel so gross right now.
Nah, it's fine. You know?
Who was playing around with their tassel? Was it?
Oh, it was Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. I was like, God, you gotta stop, man. I can't do it.
Which, you know, like, again, it's like...
But did he have a wig on, or did he have like a weird
helmet
hat?
with a tassel? Like a,
a
old, like, German military helmet with a tassel, and he's just like, Which, it could have played, because he was acting like a teenage girl in a rom-com does. So it could have played, like, this movie could have been so funny. Because there's still moments of it that are pretty funny. And they're just killed by, like, characters like the huntsman who have no chill. You know? It's like, isn't that funny? Heath Ledger, he doesn't have long hair, so he's twirling his tassel. Also, this girl's father died in a snowstorm and the evil witch put a spike into his heart to keep him alive. Like, this is, you're like, okay, it's like driving a car with your friend who just learned how to drive stick,
Oh, yeah. It does lack a certain sense of direction, maybe.
And continuity.
I have so many notes that I just can't even place. I got one just, she a freak. I'm guessing it's the...
Is it when she... Are you talking about Grandmother Toad? Or the guide? Or the queen?
The guide, maybe. I think it might have been the guide.
Was it when she licked the toad? Or was
it's when she licked the toad. She licked a toad. I don't know, man. That's, what's Cersei? Is that who it is?
Yeah, the Cersei.
Of
Cersei
Game
Lannister.
of Thrones. That was something else.
Yeah. It's funny. I hate seeing the guy who plays Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Every time I see him in something else, I'm like, you douche. And I hate him. But every time I see her, I'm like, oh, I like her. Because that's like the one role I feel like she plays where she's a bad guy. Yeah. Everywhere else, she's a good guy.
Yeah. Isn't she like the queen in 300 or something?
Yes.
One of the main characters in 300.
But see, here's the thing, Cody. The guy who plays Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Is universally regarded by everybody who's ever met him as the nicest human being.
I've heard that about him, yeah.
Like, people will have spat on him, and he'll be like, I see you watch the show. Thanks for,
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. And I'm like, oh, gosh, this guy is such a sweet boy. And you just want to hold him in your arms and strangle him a little bit, but not enough to hurt him.
Yeah. I've got a note for you. I'd like you to tell me what it means.
All right, get me with it.
Nom, 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 horse.
When they fed the spiders to the horse?
Hate that.
Tiffany liked that part.
Why?
She just... Well, I think that she liked... This is what she said. The parts where the kids were taken were, like, the best parts of this movie as, like, a sinister, scary movie.
Yeah.
Everything else of it is just kind of like... This all feels like it's wrapped around these moments that are, like, what the movie was supposed to be.
That's what I think the problem with the fairy tale thing is. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we can't seriously do the fairy tale thing. It's like, it's fairy tale, so it's got to be sort of like cartoony, fantasy, whatever. We can't take it that seriously. Or if you do, because it's fantasy, it doesn't come across as serious as it needs to. I don't know. I haven't seen Snow White and the Huntsman, but I get the vibe of that movie too, where it's like, it's not really that serious. Like, Into the Woods. I don't know what it is. Like, and then what's the Disney show? It's like on ABC that's loosely tied into all the Disney. Once Upon a Time.
My wife and I watch that all the time. It's very good. I hate to say it. I hate to be someone who likes that
show. So
is
it very dramatic, or is it suffer from the same thing? Is it it pulls it off?
Oh yeah.
Because there's also Grimm on HBO for a while, right? Is that an HBO show?
Yeah, and I think that might also be ABC.
That's more serious, isn't it?
Well, so Once Upon a Time is very serious. Like Rumpelstiltskin is the main bad guy.
Yeah.
And he is very sinister when he wants to be. But he plays like when they're in the Enchanted Forest, he plays a very goofy character, but it's like he's so powerful and he will do such evil things and then just giggle and prance away, you know, because he's just a crazy, super powerful demon wizard dude.
Sure.
So here's what I'm saying: it's possible, and they didn't do it.
But I feel like so many times it comes off this way. We're like, they didn't capture the vibe right.
Yeah.
And Terry Gilliam's a man who's done movies like 12 Monkeys that can have this like dark underbelly to them. But he's also done very silly things like Monty Python. And I feel like this is the weirdest combination of those two, and it doesn't meld together.
Yeah, which I wonder, because there was so much editing to the original script, so I wonder which way that leaned.
Yeah, I also heard like the final cut came to a stalemate between him and the Weinstein brothers, and they couldn't like agree on things, and they sat on this for like 6 months, where he's like, fine. And then they finally finished it and released it later. So I wonder like how much it was the studios being like, no, you got to make it marketable, and how much was him like, no, I want to do it this way. How much it was we had to change. It's so, when you have a bad script, it's so hard to make a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, you can make, the thing in screenwriting I like to say is you can make a bad movie out of a good script, but you can't make a good movie out of a bad script. You know, it's so much easier to like bring the writing down than to lift up bad writing.
Yeah. But like the two guys who did the dress pattern maker, basically say they had to rewrite the whole script.
Yeah.
So that makes you wonder, like, was it actually bad, or did they just like, we don't like this? Or is it all because, you know, Harvey Weinstein's a terrible person? Was that the reason?
You know, it's a good question. And
what did he do to Heath Ledger?
I don't know.
You know Heath Ledger is the prettiest person in the entire cast.
Yeah.
So he did something to him.
Yeah, he did. Since you asked, I don't know. I have a note that says there's way too much politics in this movie. Like we kind of talked about, like the French thing and the German thing. I wasn't clear on it all.
Yeah.
My next note is, so he's a general. Because it was like an hour into the movie. I was like, that's what the French guy is. He's a general. Yeah. I couldn't tell if he was like the king of France or like, I don't know, a military person of some kind or a businessman or just a nobleman. Yeah. Anyway, he's a general. Figured it out. Nailed it.
Yeah. He struck me, if I understood it right, as he's a general in charge of that, like, region or province of occupied Germany. So he's not a governor because it's all freshly, I think,
it's under
occupied.
Yeah.
So it's not long, like, he will probably become the governor, which is how we get to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah. I've got a fun history fact for you. Did you know that Napoleon was 5'8", which is actually above average height for the time in France?
Yeah, he was tall, Cody.
And it was like a propaganda thing.
He was short.
England was like, he's short, he sucks, he's short.
Yeah.
And now it's a thing. Isn't that fun? Sort of like how carrots improve your eyes. They were like, this is a lie from the war. Like, what? We just made this up?
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. Okay.
You got carotene, Cody.
The question I have for you.
Carotene.
Kerosene. Don't get them mixed up.
Yeah.
One's good for you. One is delicious, but bad for you.
Kerosene? I mean, according to some dude in Atlanta, Georgia, I've tasted kerosene. It's not good.
There you go. It's an acquired taste.
It was a German drink, though.
Here's my question for you. Why the kitty?
Cat got kicked. Here's the thing. That cat getting kicked into that rotor is burned into my brain forever. So I knew.
I had to ask the question because I forgot what the context was. So thank you for giving it to me. Why did they do that?
I don't know why. It is something, again, it's, so there, you know, there's a Monty Python movie inside this movie, and that's where that came
from. A skit about a man who kicks kittens.
I mean, like, the whole torture chamber. What, like, that's a Monty Python sketch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, they pull them out of their torture thing, and it's like, are those snails? Yeah, snails. Because that's How else are French guys going to torture you?
Ugh.
They're going to put a box around your head and fill it with snails, and then cook the snails and your
That's
head.
so uncomfortable because the troll guy is already uncomfortable, and then you cover him in snails. I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. But like, it's also not scary. It's just gross. I'm like, this is gross.
Well, I'm like, was the torture that they were going to cook the snails also cooking the people's heads, right? Or was the torture that they put the snails in the box with their heads?
I don't know. The French have some very specific ways of cooking things, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make true coq au vin, you have to use the right kind of wine from the right region and a rooster that's 18 months to 2 years old. That's the rules. And if it's not that, then it's not true, whatever. Oh, you want to make bouillabaisse? Well, if you're using anything but paprika from a certain region, then it doesn't count. It's not bouillabaisse. It's just some stupid seafood soup that you made that's wrong. So, I mean, is there a very specific version of escargot baked on the face of a man that's put into a cauldron? Yes, the answer is yes.
Which I think what you have here is you have the French and the Italians coming together. So you got your specific thing mixed with the people who say that a type of pizza can't be called a margarita pizza unless it's made with tomatoes that come from a specific, like, 2 square mile region of Italy.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true.
Which is really fun when people are like, it's not legal to do it. I'm like, I don't think the dollar store brand is paying for tomatoes from margarita. All right? Mm-mm. Right?
I mean, the other question is, are you using Parmigiano Reggiano? And you're using mozzarella? Well, is it mozzarella di bufala?
It's
right?
Mozzarella. Oh. Speaking of, side note.
This is a great time to bring up perhaps our favorite pasta brand, Barilla pasta. I saw this Barilla pasta commercial 6 times on one occasion while watching this movie.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they leaned harder than anyone has ever leaned into the word Barilla and said everything else as, like, American as possible. And it drove me crazy. But then my other thing is they're like, Barilla pasta made by
Gary?
Shanice and Gary. You're like, wait, is that an African-American woman and a white man who is clearly not Italian that are in charge of quality control? And are they singling them out? And are they saying the pasta name like it's from Italy, but it's clearly an American pasta?
Here's the thing, though, Cody. There was like 2 other words that they did with the thick accent. What were they?
I don't know.
Because it wasn't pasta.
My note is just Barilla.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
I don't... What... Here's the thing about the Italians.
It's like the people who say Ubisoft is pronounced Ubisoft, which is true. And then
you got Ubisoft, you got Uber. You know, my favorite. If I have to get anywhere, I'm always using Uber. All right.
Yeah.
I don't make up the rules. Here's the thing about the Italians. They're so regional and so specific that, as like a foodie hipster garbage person, I deeply respect, and I also am very annoyed by. It's like, they have a government agency to regulate Parmigiano Reggiano.
Yeah.
There is a board that says, look, if it's from this region and done this way, it's officially Parmigiano Reggiano. And if it's not, it's just dumb Parmesan cheese and it's garbage and we hate it. Isn't that interesting? A government agency regulating cheese. That's how much they treasure Parmigiano Reggiano.
Yeah. They need to be, like, not dumb and just have agencies to regulate, like, where whiskey has to be made. Like, real, normal human beings.
Like, normal people.
And then you make the county it's made in a dry county. That's the only way to do it.
Wait, are you talking about Shovelville?
Yeah.
Shovel? Tennessee?
Yeah.
Land of Jack Daniels?
Yeah, which is only made there because he couldn't make it in Kentucky, right? Or is it the other way around?
I don't know, because I think bourbon... I get confused between whiskey.
Tennessee whiskey.
There's whiskey, bourbon. I think bourbon's mostly made in Kentucky.
No, bourbon is only made in Kentucky.
But I've also heard bourbon whiskey. But then there's Scotch, which is also whiskey, but it's Scotland.
Scotch has to be made in Scotland.
Scotland. Oh, and it's the same with Scotch tape. Because if it's not made in... Okay, so if it's not made
Scotch,
in
Wisconsin.
Scotland, then it's just tape.
Yeah.
But if it's made in Scotland, it's Scotch tape.
Yeah. That's why it's got the
Plaid.
Plaid, there you go.
Yeah. That's why it comes with little kilts around the tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. CG Wolf has got some moves. He is soaring through the air, transmorphing into a man of sorts, just teaching us all kinds of things about the Uncanny Valley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When his legs are real tiny, which they did, that, I mean, it's a bold move because normally, here's what I feel like they normally do when they're like, we're going to make a man-wolf transformation.
Yeah.
It's going to transform to where it's going to look like a man crawling on all fours, and then he's just going to stand up. And in that stand up is where the last of the wolf goes away. Right?
Yeah. And also you can kind of do like a far wide shot with the moonlight where you're like, oh, he's transforming in the distance.
Yeah.
Which is easy if you don't have good shadow. Shadow's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Or you do just like...
Or just close-ups of the fur. You know, it's like, oh, the fur. Oh, it's going away. Oh, okay, cool.
Or like a paw, and then a hand goes down.
Yeah, there you go.
Right? What did they decide to do? Here's what's going to happen. Wolf's going to stand up, snap in half. That's what's going to happen. I'm like, what? And then his feet are going to say wolf for like a solid minute. He's going to walk around with tiny little, half-inch thick wolf legs.
His like neck snaps down and like bends towards the camera. You're like, stop, cut away, do something else. It's too...
Which... I think would have been more impactful had this been like a dark horror movie.
Yeah.
But it's not a dark horror movie. So it'll be like you have
if your effects
Cavalli.
aren't good at... We've talked about this many times. If you understand the limitations of your effects and use them in the right ways, it doesn't matter how old your effects are. You can make them work.
Yeah.
This was a movie where they were like, we're going all in on the CG effects. We're not cutting away. We're going to show it to you. And we're going to do a good job on 3 of the shots. And by the way, there's 60 shots.
Yeah. I blame the Weinsteins.
Me too, because here's the thing. I read that the most expensive effects sequence was like a tree. They had like a giant CG tree that like picked up the people. They had to fight with them when they first went in the forest.
Yeah.
And then they cut it. And they're like, yeah, most of their effects budget went into that shot. And then they didn't use it in the final cut of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. They were just like, it kind of was like the coolest part of the movie, and it happened at minute 26. So we cut it. They're like, oh. Well, that sucks. Like, the best thing you spent the most money on isn't in the movie.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's voice was too much. It kind of, by the back half of the movie, I realized he was kind of doing a voice like, yeah. It's about the story. I have the story. He talks like that.
Yeah.
And it got to me. I couldn't.
He always sounds like he's drunk with a...
marbles in his mouth?
I was going to say a fistful of dip, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because he almost sounds like, what's the name? The guy... Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. That's what he sounds like. I was like Ted Levine.
Or like gritting his teeth a lot. Like his teeth.
Yeah, just like he's not quite enunciating. He made a choice, and I disagree with it. And he should have been Matt Damon's character.
Yeah, because Matt Damon can play the timid guy better than...
That's what he got nominated for his Oscar for, right? Was playing the timid Boston kid in the movie with Robin Williams about... the janitor. We all know it. We don't need to say the name of it. We can all remember the name.
Good Will Hunting, right?
Good Will Hunting. He was Goodwill.
Yeah.
And Robin Williams was the hunter, which is why he didn't want to play the hunter in this movie, because he already did it in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
I always want to say Rain Man, and that's wrong, just so you know.
That is wrong.
Just so you know for the future, if I say Rain Man, that's the movie I'm thinking of. Almost every time.
Look. We've addressed the wolf, all right? And that's fine. We've addressed the kitty cat, okay? We've addressed many things.
The cat?
We have not addressed perhaps the most important thing, which is the gingerbread man, which haunts me. If there's one... Here's the problem. We're talking Uncanny Valley. This was the most unsettling part of this movie. A child falls into a well, is absorbed by a pile of mud, which goes into gingerbread shape, and we did it similar to Transformers 4, the robots on the ship. He gets, like, the cartoon eyes. We were like, we're in the real world. He's like, yes, but I have cartoon eyes, and I'm a gingerbread man, and it terrified me. Yeah. And it looked bad and was scary at the same time. and I couldn't handle it.
Could
you?
I've had nightmares not too far in the past about that, Cody. It's something that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
I don't understand why we had to look at it. Why the cartoon eyes?
Well, I mean, here's the reason. Because they're supposed to be normal eyes, and they're bad CG eyes. So they look cartoony. But the whole thing is like the mud comes out to chase the little girl, takes her face, much like Optimus Prime.
I forgot about the face getting taken off of the girl.
Yeah.
Or boy. Or child.
It was a girl. Remember, because the girls were being taken. They do not. Here's the thing, Cody. They do not say this in the film. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But the girls are all made to look like boys because the girls are the ones being taken.
Oh, all right.
That's why all the little girls look like boys.
Okay. Sure. Didn't even think about it.
I only knew that because when I first saw this or something, talking to somebody about like one of the stories that this is supposed to be based on, that's a thing from one of the fairy tales.
Interesting.
They would make little girls look like boys. Anyway, yeah, they just slurps him out of the arms of Cavalli.
What?
Because they send her into the house with Cavalli, who then the thing just punches through the door, grabs her, and then absorbs it, and then it's like, night is good. And then does the gingerbread man thing, which is horrifying. But I'm pretty sure the original Grimm fairy tale is horrifying.
He's also made out of mud.
Yeah, but then he bakes himself into a gingerbread man, and then he jumps back in the well. It's terrifying.
Here's what I didn't like about this. I mean, I'm over the gingerbread man. I'm moving on.
You'll never move on.
Heath Ledger's obviously in love with the Huntress.
Yeah.
Then, Matt Damon's like, I want to make out with her, so I did. What's that about? Why can't he just be a good wingman for his brother just once?
I didn't like their when brother. He was dying.
They weren't good brothers.
Yeah.
They were dicks. And then Matt Damon was mean to Heath Ledger. And then Heath Ledger was like, I kind of like this girl. And then Matt Damon was like, snog. Mm-hmm. Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I didn't feel like a kinship to the brothers.
Yeah.
You know, normally the con artist thing, it's like, all right, okay, at least you're funny, and you won me over there. They never really won me over.
But Cavalli, he won you over.
The Italian man?
Yeah. Cavalli.
I just couldn't.
Barilla.
I couldn't hang with him. There's also a plot about Rapunzel's tower, except that Rapunzel's an old queen lady who is obsessed with the mirror, and then the mirror breaks, and then the crows take up the guy, and then
mirror breaking is how they kill her.
They beat her. What?
That's how they kill her. Because the mirror
breaks the mirror
on the wall.
Mirror on the wall is the first of them all, and it wants to be her. And she's a scary lady, scary skeleton lady, but then she's going to absorb her youth from the girls. Then they foil that plan somehow.
By shattering the mirror.
Matt Damon licks Toad. The Toad turns over and goes belly up, and I thought it was weird.
It's very
sexual.
Very sexual for Grandmother Toad.
The Toad is kind of like, if something, you gotta be,
Yeah.
I want to talk about it, and I don't know. Here's what I do want to talk about. Matt Damon's character, his hair was based off of Jamie Oliver, the beloved British man who pretends to know how to make Italian food.
Yeah. Cody, here's what you don't understand. Jamie Oliver is beloved in England. He goes to the schools, and he makes food, and your cat just threw up.
Boog, no.
Boog,
you okay?
Stuff's happening, you know what I'm saying? Oh, is he going to eat it now?
No. He's gonna bury it, though. See? He's pawing some... There's no dirt, but he's pretending to paw dirt onto it. See? He's a good boy.
Hide your shame, Boog.
Hide it. Alright. Here's the thing. What was I saying? Jamie Oliver, no one cares. Okay. I don't know. I didn't love the movie. The ending was... I was kind of just over it by the end.
But you loved it.
This
is what you're saying. Cody, they fired cannons at a forest.
They light the forest on fire for fun.
Burns the forest.
Oh my gosh. So, who was it? Someone blows the fire out with, magic?
The queen.
And immediately I was like, that's exactly how I feel when someone like isn't wearing a mask near me in public. You're like, oh, they're just it's getting everywhere, Yeah. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I feel that all the time.
How do you feel about it when people are wearing the mask but not over their nose?
Yeah,
or it's just like it's
too.
covering only their bottom lip?
Oh, I hate that. Drives me crazy. And then I get this too sometimes. I'll be like in line. I'm like, all right, I'm spread out from everyone. I'm in line. And then like I'll get a really old person. I've had an old person like in crutches, like like walking sticks, they can barely get around, get like right behind me over my shoulder. I'm like, look, you're the one who's gonna die if you get sick. And you're like, you can't even, it's hard for you to walk. So it was harder for you to get this close to me. I don't know, man. I don't know what it, old people are fearless, okay? They're like, I've only got like 2 more weeks to live anyway, so I'm gonna get up here, right? I'm asserting my dominance over you. I'm the alpha in this line. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
At the store the other day, I felt someone, I swear I could feel someone's breath on the back of my neck, which in the past I would have been like, oh gosh. But right now, I was like, oh gosh, what's happening? And I was confused and I was scared and I may have soiled myself a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole cacophony of emotions.
I hear you.
And it's just some dude in a suit with so here's the thing. The person who gets right behind you and breathes on you like the queen from the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
It's never like, oh, this is a mother with diapers and food and or a dude with, life-saving medication for his wife. It's always like some dude in board shorts and a polo shirt and he's got a Red Bull and a Snickers. And it's like, dude, you don't even need to be here right now.
Or it's just like a case of Busch Light. You're like, oh, yeah. This is it. This is what brought you here today.
Yeah. No, here's what happens even more. It's the dude with the 2 things, and then he's like, wait a second, I forgot something. And then he comes back with 2 cases of Busch Light. Yeah. And it's like, I really feel like that's what you came here for.
Oh, yeah. Always gotta put on a show. All right. I have one note. And I need you to tell me what it means. I think maybe I have an idea. My last note.
Give it to me.
Well, maybe not.
Because there was a question mark after that at the end.
Come on.
Cody, it's a cinematic universe, much like Dracula Untold.
Okay, here's the thing. There was a movie called Hansel and Gretel. Or Hansel.
Hansel and Gretel, yeah.
Gretel and Hansel in 2020.
Oh, okay. I hate it. Yes.
Was it good?
I don't know.
Because it looks super spooky. It's got a 60... Okay, it's one of these. 66 on Rotten Tomatoes. 23 audience score.
I remember knowing people who liked it, but they would never say it was a good movie. I feel like it landed a lot in you remember Van Helsing?
Yeah.
Did you like that movie?
I didn't see it.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was good. A lot of people described it as like that, but I think...
Well, are you talking about the 2020 one, or are you talking about the earlier one?
The one with Hugh Jackman.
Okay, I think that's the earlier one.
Yeah, that is the earlier one.
Okay.
The new one's a show.
And Gretel Witch Hunter with Jeremy Renner?
No. Yes. You're looking at the other one, right? Okay.
Hansel and Gretel are bounty hunters who track and kill witches all over the world.
I thought that's the one you were talking about. Are you talking about the new super creepy one?
No, it was like The Witch, but for Hansel and Gretel.
I hate it immediately. What's that one got? What is the Jeremy Renner?
Jeremy Renner's got a 23 on Metascore. You want to know the Rotten Tomatoes? I
want to know what the audience score is.
Hansel and Gretel. Well, it's clocking in at a strong 16% on Tomato Meter.
Yeah.
But a hefty 53% on audience score.
See, that's what I'm saying, Cody. But what did the other one, the Gretel and Hansel? Gosh, I freaking hate people from California so much.
It got a 66 Tomato Meter, but a 20% audience. So... kind of basically flipped.
I say I hate people from California. I hate people from San Francisco who do things just a little bit differently.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I hate it. That has come up so many times watching like TV with my wife and stuff, and I'm like, I hate it.
Yeah.
They lose me immediately when they're like, we do things just a little different. When they do, Cody, I saw a show where they did two in one statement.
I'm sorry.
You get one.
I'm sorry for my people.
Also, they talked about a serial killer from Victorville in CSI twice.
What?
This is the second time it's come up.
There's a serial killer from Victorville?
Yeah.
Is it a fictional one or a real one?
I think... Here's the thing. I did take pictures of who they were talking about. The things, subtitles. I'll look at it. I'm pretty sure it was fictional. But
I feel like I would have heard of one if it was...
I mean, serial killer. Killed like three people.
Don't get me wrong. We have plenty of murders.
That's the thing.
It's just, I don't think it's one dude doing
It's
most.
3 people, I think, that got killed. So it's like everywhere else, they're like, oh my gosh, it's a serial killer. But, you're in somewhere like Victorville, it's like...
Oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like Kansas City. Everybody's like, oh yeah, this serial killer flew in from Kansas City. It's like, you mean just a regular murderer from Kansas City?
Yeah.
You don't just murder. You can't murder just one person.
Here, like, hey, that might cut it over in Oklahoma, but if you're here in Kansas City, come on.
Yeah, you don't even get an APB on your car until you've gotten 2 murders on your belt.
Tyler, here's my thing. I don't think you're as upset as I am about this movie.
I've seen it more the times
than
you.
Offends me. So here, I would like to share my final fun fact with you. Okay. Maybe this will help you. Aaron Kruger wrote this movie.
Right.
He's written a few others. Reindeer Games. Does that make you mad? Fine. I have more. Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh.
Transformers, Age of Extinction. Transformers. The other one.
Which one? Last Night?
2, 3, and 4 is what he wrote.
But 3...
Right?
3 is pretty good.
Which one was 3?
3 is Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon. He wrote Dark of the Moon.
Which is pretty good. But it may be just pretty good because...
It was after Revenge of the Fallen?
Yeah.
He wrote both.
Finally,
he wrote Tim Burton's Dumbo.
I hate this man.
This man, okay, Reindeer Games, famously terrible movie, right? Famously bad. Transformers, we all know the stigma. He wrote the Dumbo movie, he wrote this. Who is still paying this man to write movies?
The Tim Burton Dumbo?
Is it the Weinstein brothers? What is happening?
Well, didn't Tim Burton Dumbo come out after Weinstein's got,
Yeah, similar times, maybe a little after.
Cody, Bindy's eating the barf. Oh, she's going for it, Cody. Sorry, we got a situation here. Oh, you
I'm right here. It. I'm not gonna get up here.
She's gonna lick your face now. Gosh. Bindy gonna lick his face.
Oh my goodness. All right. Bindy's about to cause trouble. Any any parting thoughts?
I hate the Tim Burton Dumbo.
Would you recommend the Brothers Grimm to anyone in particular?
My wife.
Tim Burton.
Anyone who likes bad movies. So
the real question is, are you going to watch Brazil with me? Because Terry Gilliam also directed Brazil, and it's the other
Brazil
movie that's supposed to be good by him. It's more like 12 Monkeys, where it's I think film people are going to be the ones interested in it.
I'll watch it if you pronounce it correctly.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Please don't watch this movie. Watch any other Terry Gilliam movie. Please.
Or don't. Just don't watch any of his movies. He worked with... What's the writer's name?
Aaron Kruger?
He worked with Aaron Kruger, which means he's dead to me.
I mean, it is an impressively bad filmography. And I guess he's still writing movies because, Transformers, those were the lucrative Transformers movies. Or at least the two were. When did it turn? Was it
4 was the super successful one,
and then 5
but kind of killed it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
So 4 was enormously successful.
That was the one that went overseas.
Yeah.
Here's what's also terrifies me. The Top Gun reboot everyone's excited for.
He wrote it?
He wrote it. He also wrote The Ring, which is a classic, which I think people like. He also wrote Ghost in the Shell.
Which no one liked.
He also wrote Blood and Chocolate. He also wrote Skeleton Key.
Which no one liked.
The Ring 2.
No one liked that one.
And Imposter. Scream 3.
Scream 3?
Yeah.
No one liked it.
Arlington Road. That's it. So,
It's either I've never heard of the movie or I'm pretty sure everyone universally hated it.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is.
You know what? We should go break into his house, tie him down,
and
tell him that we think he's not very good at his job.
Yeah, I agree. And if things get sexual, hey, that's not on me.
I mean, I was going to murder him. You just went for the sexual stuff. Allegedly, I was going to murder him. This is not admissible in court, is what I'm saying.
I think we'd have to have sponsors for it to be admissible in court, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works? I know podcast law. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. You can tell us about to other people.
Tell us about to other people.
Jamie did. She gave us a little plug on the old Facebook.
Tell us about to other people.
Tell us about to other people.
That's what you say. So I'm trying to. I think the movie might have broken.
It's called Opinion Havers. You know, you can tweet me at Opinion Havers, and you can just tell me all about how you like this movie, and you can defend Aaron Kruger, and we can get into it.
No, don't defend him.
Tweet me at Opinion Havers. You know, you can give us recommendations. You can abuse us with your weird movies you want us to do.
Here's what I want. If our fan truly loves us, you start a petition to make Dress Pattern Maker an official. Like, every movie has that as a credit.
Yes.
Every single person who even changes one word of the script,
they need to be listed.
They go in there. And then we keep it out of the Screenwriters Guild. We keep them from finding out about it. We wipe their memories when they do. We start a Men in Black-esque organization to keep it a secret. Then maybe we start to kind of spread our tendrils into other government agencies. Yeah. Eventually, we are the Men in Black. And we control the world. And we go in, and they're like, I've never heard of you. And you say, I never will. And then you kill him. And then you're now the president of Nicaragua, right? That's what goes on.
And if things get sexual, that's not on me. Thanks for listening, and until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions. And don't get sexual with the murdered president of Nicaragua, I guess.
I guess I shouldn't have made that joke in the same podcast where we talked about, like, Weinstein being... it's different.
Things didn't get sexual with him. He made them sexual. You're saying, like, hey, if it consensually gets to that place, right. That's not my fault.
I'm not making it sexual. It's just, hey,
you're open to it.
If that's where I get.